Hi everyone, apa kabar semua? This is Sarah again. We'll wait. I know I'm a bit late today, but we'll wait 5 minutes before we start. Yeah, so the laptop is at this angle because I'm having like a really bad hair day, as you can see, and a very bad skin day. I'm like breaking out like crazy. Change of weather. If you're out there, say hi so I know who is there watching today. Hi again, Wei Ming. You're a very loyal, loyal fan. Can't scroll comments. Oh no, I can't scroll up. Okay, now I can see it. Hi, Damary. Finally, you get to join. You missed the last round. Hello, Keith. Okay. Hi, Becky. How are you? Hi, Jared. I'll be speaking about astrology first. So if you have questions, you can type it out in the comment section. From the screen, it's over here. But if you're watching from your phone, it's down there. And I'll do like a short reading for you later. We'll be starting in 2 minutes. I'm doing very good, Becky. If you have any questions, do type it up in the comment section and I'll try and do like a short reading for you later. Okay. If you're wondering why, I mean, a lot of people in Asia, where most of my clients and friends and fans are from, always tell me the feedback is that I always start very, very early, because around this time, usually people in Southeast Asia, they are on their way home from work and it's like Friday. The reason why I always start at around 5, 6 p.m. is because I am using a co-working space. So, and they are closed at 6 o'clock. So over here in Jakarta right now, it's 5 p.m. and they close at 6 o'clock. So they would kick me out at 6 p.m. So that's why I only have like this 1 hour to do it. And because the internet at my apartment is not really good, so I have to do it at a co-working space. So I'm still in Jakarta. I'm gonna be in Cambodia next week. So for my next FB Live video, I'll be in Cambodia. Okay, so let's start on astrology. I mentioned a few days ago on my Instagram and also on my Facebook post that every time when I meet someone new, which is very, very often because I do sales for a living, sales, business development, marketing, and I do meet about 10, 20 new person a week. So usually one of my first questions that I would ask them if I find that, you know, the conversation is getting boring is, what's your horoscope? And usually at the end of the conversation, they always end up friends with me, because I find that, number one, astrology is very good icebreaker when it comes to talking to someone, like meeting someone new. What's that? Okay. So eyelash. Yeah, so yep. So I managed to find a lot of my old astrology notes. This was when I was living in New Zealand in 2009. I was there for a working holiday, and I was working with my uncle's company. And very fortunately, because my uncle owned a security company in Auckland, so we were one of the third party for Rugby World Cup in 2011, and I managed to watch all the games. I know a lot of like rugby lovers out there are really, really jealous, but that was the year that it was hosted in New Zealand, and All Blacks won. So while I was in New Zealand, I think if you have been to New Zealand or Australia, they really prioritize and emphasize family time. So most of the time at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, shopping malls would close. The only place that you can go to back then is the supermarket. So my life in New Zealand, even though New Zealand is really, really beautiful, and when they say the grass is always greener at the other side, trust me, in New Zealand, the grass is freaking green. However, there isn't anything else to do. So in 2011, even though I was a skeptic in the past, I started to explore astrology and feng shui, and I came across in New Zealand, there's a lot of astrologers there. In fact, very, very popular ones where they have like workshops and courses pretty often. So I managed to contact an astrologer over there, one of the top astrologer over there, who so happened shares the same birthday with me, different year. And yeah, so this was like way back in 2011. And the reason why I ended up doing tarot reading instead, professionally instead, is because astrology is really, really difficult to learn and master. And there's a lot of things for you to memorize compared to tarot reading. So tarot reading is like a form of a divination where you ask questions and you get like, it's like more like immediate questions or things that you're facing at the moment. But for astrology, you can look into like way ahead, like 10, 20 years, in fact, like your whole life, because you are reading the entire birth chart. But for tarot reading, usually you can only read like the next few years, 1 year to maximum like 3 years ahead. That is from my teaching. I know there are other readers out there who who tells you or says that you can actually read your entire life. But from my training and from my teacher, that was what I was taught. Astrology. I mean, for tarot reading, you only can read 1 year to 3 years ahead. So yeah, so I found back like all my old astrology notes. In fact, this is like my own birth chart. See all my drawings. I'm not going to show you the year because I'm forever 21. Okay. So in our astrology, usually what is the main sign that I ask from when I meet someone new, it's like, oh, what is your horoscope? Which means what is your sun sign? But other than sun sign, in your birth chart, there's a lot of other signs. Like for example, your moon sign, which reflects who you are behind the scenes, who you are like emotionally and who you are in your relationship. And there's also something called ascendant, which is your rising sun or rising sign, which is the first impression people have of you, and also your first reaction when there's like a new situation or a surprise, and also how you are as a child. So for me, for example, my sun sign, I'm an Aquarius. My moon sign, I'm a Pisces. And my ascendant I'm an Aries. So that is like the first impression of me. My ascendant is Aries. Like when I walk into the room, I'm always like, okay, the queen is here. You can get the party started. So that is the first impression that I always give off to people, that I'm like really, really fiery, and sometimes, which I actually hate, believe it or not. Contrary to popular belief, I hate being noticed because I'm always late for events and meetings and even to church. So every time when I turn up to church late, I like to sneak in, but everyone always notice me. The hate of, oh, okay, that's Sarah. So I actually really hate being noticed. But if you know me more, you can see that I'm someone who's really analytical, all about numbers, facts, figures, justification. Don't bullshit. In business, if you give me a stupid proposal, I'm gonna be very straightforward to you. This is a stupid proposal. You need to do better than this. However, if you know me even more and you are really, really close to me, you can see my really emotional side, my artistic side. For example, I'm someone who's really artistically inclined. I love music. I was a professional singer. I was a professional dancer. I did theater professionally. I have a master's degree in dance. So I am really artistically inclined, and also sometimes really emotional. One of my favorite hobbies is watching Korean dramas. And Korean dramas, there's always a moment where you have to cry because it's so sad. Why don't you love her back? So yeah, so that is the main three combination. But there's also other elements within a birth chart like this, like your Jupiter, your your side, your other houses. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 houses. Yeah, so there's a lot of other elements to make up a person. But what we're talking about today is just your sun sign. Okay, so I wrote down all my notes in this notebook. Okay, so as a disclaimer, just a funny story. So all my life, I always thought I was a Pisces because I was born on February 19. But at 23 years old, last year in New Zealand, when I first attended my first astrology course, and I gave my birth date and also my birth time to my teacher then. She told me something really surprising. The past, for 23 years, I thought that I was a Pisces, but in the end, I was actually an Aquarius. This is because I was born on a leap year. So every time there's like every 4 years, there is like a slight change, like it will like differ like one day. So even though usually if someone who's born on the February 19 is a Pisces, but for my year, I am an Aquarius. However, I do have, like mentioned previously, I do have a lot of Pisces element because I'm a cup sign, and also it is my moon sign. Just a disclaimer, what I'm going to tell you in a short while is based on my own experience and only based on the main sun sign. Because like I said just now, to fully understand a person, one must look at their entire like birth chart. You need their birthday, their exact birth time to know like their entire birth chart. Yeah. So the sun sign is like the core sign, the core of a person. Like I say, everyone is different because you need to look at their exact birth sign, but the core personality is usually quite similar. The moon sign is your inner self, who you are behind the scenes, and also your relation, like how you act in your relationships. Rising sun, rising sign, ascendance is the first reaction you have towards like a new scenario or a surprise, the impression of how you were like as a child, and also the first impression that you give off to people. So for just to summarize, this is my old notes. Just to summarize, the elements is fire. There are 4 elements. When it comes to astrology and horoscope, there's fire, earth, air, and water. So fire signs are Aries, Sagittarius, and also Leos. They are fiery, they are spontaneous, they are spirited, they are passionate, and also they have a lot of energy. Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and also Capricorn. They are very earthy, very solid, very practical. And I would say very dependable because the earth is like really solid. That is what you build your houses on. Air signs are Libra, Aquariuses, and also Geminis. So air signs are usually not airheads. They are usually very communicative. They are very friendly, airy, circulating, and mentally active. They are people who like to think a lot. Water signs are Cancer, they are Scorpios, and also Pisces. They are very fluid, they are flexible, they are intuitive, and also sensitive, and most of the time very emotional also. So another part of astrology horoscope is also something called the qualities. So you have cardinal, you have fixed, you have mutable. Cardinal signs are usually the pioneers. So cardinal signs are Aries, they are Libras, Capricorn, and I can't remember the last one, but we'll get back to that. And the next one is fixed sign. Fixed sign is Leos, Aquariuses, Scorpios, and also Taurus. So every time when I meet these 4 signs, I always tell them, oh, you're really stubborn, because fixed sign is someone that they are really fixed. For example, like from the moment I stepped into like my astrology class or tarot readings class, I told my teacher or master that I want to be a reader. I don't care. I'm really determined, really stubborn with what I really want to do. So stubbornness also translate to determination. Yeah, so people who are in these fixed signs are usually very stubborn or determined, if you see it from a positive angle. And mutable signs are Geminis, they are Pisces, they are Sagittarius. So mutable signs are someone who are changeable, very adaptable, very flexible. For example, if you're at the spur of the moment, you want to go somewhere, like, for example, it's like after work, if you suggest to, let's go and have like happy hour or something. Most of the time, if the person that you're speaking to is like a mutable sign, they would agree because they're very flexible. But usually, this is from experience. Like my Virgo best friend, even though she's a mutable sign, but she's also quite stubborn. She loves to follow her schedule. She don't like to not follow her schedule. So for example, if I'm having lunch with her, it will only be lunch because that's on her schedule. And after lunch, if I suggest to go somewhere else, she's like, no way, I didn't like plan this. So today is only lunch, so we only have lunch. There won't be any other plans after that. So yeah. And also there are polarities. So polarities, there is like, polarities means, a person with like yin yang, if you're into Chinese feng shui. So yin yang personality, which means that if you are, you have like a very yang personality, people will always like notice you. You are very extroverted. And if you have like a yin personality, you are someone who are somewhat introverted and like you like to stay in your own space. You don't really like attention that much. Okay, so let's start with the first sun sign, which is Aries. Aries is the leader of all signs. It's the first sign, and famous Aries are like Lady Gaga, my favorite, Elton John, Emma Watson, and Jackie Chan. So the keywords to describe Aries are assertive, they are pioneering, they are impulsive, and also the word to describe them is I am. I have like really good experiences working with Aries. Two of my best mentors, in fact, I've only ever had two really good mentors, are Aries's. So Aries man and Aries lady were my previous mentors in my corporate career. So what I love about them is that whatever they promise you, they'll do it. They don't break promises. And also they are really inspiring because Aries is like the first sign, so they are leaders. They are really inspiring. They make you, even though you're, for example, I have been a salesperson for the past like 5 years, and I never knew I could do sales. It was one of my fear also. But when I first went into advertising sales, my mentor, he is so inspiring that he made me believe that I can do it. So that is the qualities that Aries have. But when it comes to Aries man, I've dated an Aries man before, even though he is a really good businesswoman, really inspiring, very good leadership quality, and he have like really good ideas, and he will go all out for it. But I find that Aries men can sometimes they have like a bit of a roving eye. So they are a bit of a playboy or player. So that is my experience with Aries men. Aries woman, however, this what I'm gonna say applies to both Aries men and Aries woman, but unfortunately, I find that it doesn't. What do you say? It doesn't really benefit women, because Aries women, they sometimes do things without thinking of the consequences, and then later on they'll be like, oh shit, I've done this. Yeah, so this is Aries woman personality. But personally, I love working with Aries women because they're always like, okay, let's do this. Don't think too much. So I love working with Aries because they have like that push factor. When I am like thinking too much, you'll be like, okay, don't think, let's do it, just do it. So Aries are really good to work with. So that is how they are at work. But in relationships, like I mentioned just now, Aries men, they are somewhat a bit of like a player or playboy. And for Aries women, sometimes they do have a bit of a temper. I've never really seen an Aries woman like lose her temper yet, thank God. But because it's a sign of the element, their element is fire, so they do have a bit of a temper. Okay, moving on. Next, sorry, I would like to add on. So for Aries, their birthday is from March 21st to April 19th. So moving on to Tauruses. Tauruses are their birthday is from April 20th to May 20th. The famous Tauruses are Adele, Audrey Hepburn, George Clooney, and also Dwayne Johnson. So the key words to describe Tauruses is possessive. They are stubborn. They are very, very reliable. And the key word to describe them is I have. They are an earth element. They are also a very fixed sign, very, very stubborn. And they're also a yin sign. So they don't really like that much attention. So my personal experiences working with Taurus. My mom is a Taurus, by the way, and previously I was working with someone, a male Taurus, and what I love about them is Tauruses are really, really tidy. My mom is like really, really tidy, and I'm the total opposite. So Tauruses are really, really tidy. They love family life. They love very, very good food. They are someone that you can really depend on. So when it comes to work, like being tidy, being on time, Tauruses are someone that you can hire and work with because they won't disappoint you. But things that pisses me off about Tauruses is that they are so stubborn and very, very possessive. So if they own something and they feel that something belongs to them, like a job role or a client, don't you dare steal their client or their job, or go against what they say, because they are stubborn and they are possessive. It's like what is theirs is theirs. So yeah, so for me and my mom is, I would say, like the perfect housewife in a way, because she loves tidying up. She is very, very neat. And Tauruses, they are into family life, so they love having children. They love that like very, very domesticated kind of feeling or kind of life. But however, when I tell her something, she almost never listens. She always listens to a friend, but she never listens to me, even though I'm always right because I'm an Aquarius. So that is Tauruses. So Taurus, they say that because it's a stubborn sign, it's a fixed sign, Taurus men and women are very, very loyal. That is what I can see in Taurus women. However, based on what I have experienced, I have met several Taurus men who have cheated on their wife, unfortunately, and two of those Taurus men are my ex-bosses. So I'm not very, very sure on the loyal part. Maybe there are other elements, like maybe there's like a Scorpio or Gemini sign within their chart that makes them want to cheat, but I do not believe that Tauruses are that loyal. Okay, next is Gemini. So Gemini's birth date is from May 21st to June 20th. Gemini, the famous Geminis are Johnny Depp. In fact, a lot of my idols are Geminis. Johnny Depp, Angelina Jolie, which I love, Marilyn Monroe, which I also love, and also Nicole Kidman, which I love. And the key words to describe Geminis are versatile. They can be a bit inconsistent and very, very animated. So what the words that can describe a Gemini is I think. So, and Gemini, their element, they are air. They are mutable, which makes them very flexible. And they are also a yang sign. When they walk into the room, when they walk into a room, you will notice them because they're really animated, very, very friendly. So I do have quite a number of Gemini friends, both guys and girls. And every time I meet a Gemini, the things that I would tell them is, number one, you really don't understand yourself sometimes. And it's like, yeah, I really don't understand myself. Because the sign of the Gemini, if you look at like the icon or the picture of like the Gemini sign, it's a twin. So sometimes they get really, really confused because one part of them wants to do something and another part of them wants to do something else. So the twin is always, you know, very, very contradicting. They contradict themselves. In fact, I have a friend who used to date a Gemini. He told me that when his ex-girlfriend wanted to break up with him, one moment she was like, okay, let's break up, with like a straight face like that. And then the next moment, she cried to him, oh my God, I miss you, you know, I want you back. So, you know, Geminis can be very, very contradicting. But because I'm also an air sign, I have a lot of Gemini friends, because air signs are usually very, very friendly and communicative. So if you want someone to party with, you want someone to have fun with, you want someone to go on trips with, Gemini is the sign. And when it comes to work, if you have a business and if you have like really, really difficult clients, send over like a Gemini manager, because they will definitely manage that difficult client and end up friends with that client. So Geminis are really, really friendly. They're very fun. They are very positive. However, if you want a Gemini that is on time, if you want to work with a Gemini, you need to know that usually they're not on time. They're not really reliable. When you ask them to deliver like work at this time and this date, they usually don't really deliver it on time. So they are not really dependable in that aspect. But when it comes to work that you require a lot of like creativity, a lot of communication, if you want like your staff to PR with your client, so then you can hire a Gemini. So Gemini are a bit of flirts, both men and women, because they are very communicative, and they find that flirting actually, you know, they like the challenge of flirting. You know, it stimulates their mind because they are someone who likes to think. So so Geminis are very, very flirtatious. Okay, the next sign is Cancer. So this is, right now it's still the month of Cancer to July 22nd. So their birth dates is from June 21st to July 22nd. Next week it's the month of Leo. So the famous Cancer signs are Mahathir Mohamad, which is Malaysia's former and current Prime Minister, Selena Gomez, Ariana Grande, and also Princess Diana. So Cancer signs are very, very protective. They are very, very nurturing. They are very tenacious. The two words that describe them is I feel. They are a water sign. They are cardinal. Cardinal are signs that always start something. And also they are yin sign, which means they don't really like the limelight that much, even though are a lot of leaders and a lot of business people that I know, businessmen and businesswomen, are Cancer. And this is because they are cardinal signs. So cardinal signs are always someone that starts something, like Princess Diana, like Malaysia's former and current Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad. They are always the first who start something. So Cancers they love family life. They love like protecting people they love. That's why they have like a shell. And you know, crabs, when you see like an image of a crab, it's always like that. So they like to protect people they love and people they care. And even though they are emotional, they don't really show it to people, because their emotions is hidden behind a shell, a hard like crab shell. So even though they are emotional, they are water sign, they love music, they don't really show it to people. But I do know a lot of Cancers who are very, very good leaders and business people. Next is Leos. So Leos are born, their birth dates are from July 23rd to August 22nd. And the famous Leos are Barack Obama, Jennifer Lopez, Daniel Radcliffe. The keywords that describe Leos is that they are very dramatic, they are proud, they are conceited, they have a lot of pride. The two words that describe them is I will. So Leos is a fire sign, and they are a fixed sign, which makes them really stubborn, and also they are a yang sign, which means that every time like they walk into the room, you really notice them. They love the limelight. So Leo, there are a lot of performers and celebrities who are Leos because they love the limelight. I do know Leos who don't really like the limelight, but they still have a lot of pride and ego in them because it's a sign of the lion, lion pride. So very interesting about Leos. So I'm an Aquarius, so Leos and Aquariuses are the exact opposite. Whatever decisions a Leo make, they make it based on their feelings, their pride, and their heart. And for an Aquarius, whatever decision an Aquarius make, we make it based on like our logic, our mind. Even though our heart like feels something else, we almost never listen to our heart. We always listen to our head. But what I love about Leos, for Leo band, they are probably one of like the most, they are the most romantic guys that I have dated. When they love you, they love you. Even as a friend, when they care about you and they love you, they really care and they really love you. However, when you piss them off and when you make them angry, okay, please run as fast as possible, because they will break the door, they will go crazy. Yeah, so you don't want to mess with them when they are angry. And I've always had like a love-hate relationship with Leos. Like on their good days, when they are happy, when their mood is okay, their mood is good, they are really loving, very, very this like really loving, and you would feel it because they would love you so much and care for you so much. And when you're hungry, they'll buy food for you. When you want something, they will like give you everything. But when they are like misunderstanding, or because I did not like deliberately piss off a Leo previously, it was like a misunderstanding, or if they feel that you are one of their competition, they'll get angry. Yeah, and you don't want to deal with it because it is pretty ugly. So for Leos, Leo is one of the sign where I always notice, even before asking a person. When I meet someone new, I can always know that that person is a Leo, because a Leo, they dress really well. They really look after their look. They go to the gym. They are very because it's a fixed sign. They're stubborn. And they are determined. They are always going to the gym, taking care of their looks, having their manicures, pedicures, perfect makeup, perfect hair. So every time when I see a Leo, I know that that person is a Leo, because they really stand out. They are usually like almost like perfect 10 in terms of their looks. Next is Virgo. So Virgo is born from August 23rd to September 22nd, and famous Virgos are Cameron Diaz. And Virgos, I have a lot of very close friends who are Virgos, because they are quite similar with Aquariuses. For example, Aquariuses are very logical, and a Virgo is also very logical. And Aquarius, they are sometimes really detached and not emotional. Virgos are also roughly the same. So the keywords that would describe Virgos are critical, very critical of them, both themselves and also other people. Very, very precise in terms of their work, coming to work on time, being on time, very, very analytical. And the two words that describes them is I analyze. They are an earth sign. They are mutable. Even though they are like a mutable sign, they're supposed to be flexible. But my best friend is, she have her moments where she's stubborn, and she have her moments where she is flexible, especially when I justify certain things or when I speak logic to her, then she's willing to change. And they are yin sign, which means that they don't really like the limelight, and they don't really stand out. So right now I'm working really closely with like a Virgo Indonesian businessman, and even before I like spoke to him or in a way being interviewed by him, I already knew his sun sign. So how I managed him, and before like even meeting him, I've already done my research on his businesses, like what he needs, all the screenshot. If I 50-page presentation to show him. So before, for example, if you're dealing with a Virgo in business, you would always need to do your research and your homework first. Then that is how you can impress them. So definitely, because I'm working with him very closely now. So I have done before I've met this businessman, which I'm working very closely with. I've already done all my research. That was why he was really, really impressed when he met me. And it was also because I knew his sun sign way before I met him. I did my homework. So I find that knowing someone's sun sign is a good way to learn how to manage a person. So for women, Virgo, even though some of them, they might be like supermodels, they might be, from their physical outlook, they might not look really, really bright, but if they are a Virgo, and once you start to speak to them, you know that they're really, really logical. I have a few friends who are Miss Malaysias and models who are Virgos. Like, so from the outside, they don't look that bright, probably because their hair is quite light. I don't know, or probably because they don't give off that first impression. But when you start speaking to them, you realize that they are really, really logical. Like everything, like ask them, why do you want to do this? Why do you think you should do that? They always have that really, they have thought about it. They are very, they can give you very good justification and very, very good like analytical and very, very logical reasons. So my best friend in Singapore, she's a Virgo, and how I speak to her, I can never use like the very emotional method, like, oh, I think you should do this because I feel so. She will not accept such shit. I would have to tell her, okay, you need to do this because A and B and C and D, and this will lead up to E, F, G. A Virgo would accept this kind of like logical explanation. Next is Libra sign. So the Libras are born between September 23rd to October 22nd, and famous Libras are Will Smith, Kim Kardashian, Eminem, and Kate Winslet. And the keywords that describes a Libra is harmonious, because they are a scale, so they always like to be in harmony. They are very diplomatic, also because of the scale. Diplomatic. They are indecisive, also because of the scale. They find it very, very hard to decide. So I know a lot of Libras because they are also an air sign. So naturally, air signs and air signs, they attract each other as friends. And Libras, they find it really hard making decision, even though they are someone who are very smart, very intellectual, but they always cannot decide because their sign is like a scale, like a weighing scale, like, oh, should I do this or should I do that? They can never decide. In fact, I know like a few friends who smoke, a Libra guy friends who smoke, and they can walk into like a convenience store like 7-Eleven, and they can stand in front of the cigarette display for 15-20 minutes and not know which cigarette to buy, even though they have always been buying like the same cigarette. So that is them, they find it very, very hard to decide on something. So Libras also love things that are beautiful. They love decorating their house. They are weak. their weak point are like very beautiful women and very, very good looking men. So they like things that are very good looking. And most Libras always get into like, they always fall in love with the wrong people. So those are Libras. Because they are an air sign, they are also very friendly, very communicative, and extremely intelligent. In fact, compared to other air signs like Gemini, Libras, Gemini and Aquarius, Libras are the most intelligent, but because they don't have the ability to like make decisions, or they can be indecisive, it makes them like not very dependable at times. So they are air sign, they are cardinal, which means they are always like the first to start something, and they are also yang sign. So you always like notice them because they love to dress up, they love looking pretty, looking beautiful, looking handsome. Yeah. Next up is Scorpio. Scorpios are born between October 23rd to November 22nd, November 21st, and famous Scorpios are Leonardo DiCaprio, Anne Hathaway, and a lot of very interesting that I am surrounded by a lot of Scorpios because both of my brothers, my older brother and my younger brother, are Scorpios, and my other best friend in Sydney, she's a Scorpio, and I have a lot of other very, very, very close friends who are Scorpios, and my tarot reading teacher or masters or sifu, she's also a Scorpio. So I am surrounded by a lot of Scorpios. So I have heard of this. There's two myths actually surrounding Scorpios. Number one is that because Scorpios is a sign of rebirth, it's either a year before a Scorpio is born or a year after a Scorpio is born, there would be a death. I'm not sure if you get what I mean. So the myth is that every time a Scorpio is born, there will be a death. So the death would happen either a year before or 1 year after. So for my family, because both of my brothers are Scorpio, after my older brother was born, my great-grandmother passed away. And after my mother's father, which is my maternal grandfather, passed away, my younger brother was born like 6 months, I think 8 months later. So this is one of the very interesting myths. The other myth is that for the Scorpio sign, not all Scorpios are the same because there are 3 types of Scorpios. They are the snake Scorpio, they are the scorpion Scorpios, and they are the eagle Scorpios. I'm not very, very sure about the snake Scorpio or like the Scorpio, but I assume that the snake Scorpio is someone that you can't really trust because it's a snake. So snake Scorpios are maybe, I don't know, criminals or something. Scorpios, I would assume that it's like my older brother. I hope he's not watching this. So Scorpios are usually Scorpions are very, very friendly, but they can be very emotional at times. But eagle Scorpios are usually people who are very, very successful. So I know a lot of Scorpios who are very good business people too. Like even my tarot teacher, she was previously a businesswoman in the tourism line. And another good friend of mine, her husband is a Scorpio, and he's one of like the biggest F&B nightclub owner in like Malaysia. So he's also a Scorpio. So I'm training my younger brother so that he becomes an eagle and not a snake or Scorpio. So the keywords to describe a Scorpio is intense. They are very secretive. They are penetrating, means I think they are very intense. And the 2 words that describe a Scorpio is I desire. They are a water sign, which makes them emotional and also musically inclined. And they are a fixed sign, very, very stubborn. And also they are yin sign. They don't really like to like be out there. They like to be on their own, stay in their cave like a hermit. Sometimes, even though I know there are a lot of like Scorpios who also love attention. So what I love about Scorpios is that they are very nice. They are very, very, very nice people. Very, very loving, very caring. My best friend, she's very, very loving, very caring. But sometimes they can be a little too stubborn. And yeah, they can be very stubborn and extremely emotional to the point that it's like borderline depression. So when they are very emotional, they're very sad, it's very hard to like bring them out of that state of mind. That is like based on my experience. So when they are really emotional, they are really, really emotional. Moving on is Sagittarius. So Sagittariuses are born, their birth dates are from November 22nd to December 21st. Famous Sagittariuses are Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, Brad Pitt, and Katie Holmes. So for Sagittarius, they are explorative. They love to travel. They are very restless. They don't like things that they don't like following schedules, and they don't like things that are really repetitive. They are very optimistic, and the two words that symbolizes them is I seek. They are a fire sign. They are fire sign. They are mutable. They are very flexible, and also they are yang sign. So they always stand out. So what I know about Sagittarius is it's about the same with like Gemini. If you want to have fun, you want to party, you want to have like very spontaneous, do something very spontaneous, look for a Sagittarius, because they love to party and they are very, very funny. They're very optimistic. They don't get offended really easily. However, they are also Sagittarius is also the sign of luck. So most Sagittariuses are very, very lucky. Like sometimes I know a few Sagittariuses that even when they don't work for it, they get it. Like when they don't even think about it, they get it. For example, I have a Sagittarius girlfriend who, on a whim, like spontaneously, she would quit her job and like pack her bag and go to China to learn Shaolin Kung Fu or something like that. However, after like learning Shaolin Kung Fu, she suddenly like becomes like really, really famous. Like a lot of magazines, a lot of TV channels want to interview her. They want her as an ambassador. Like she didn't even like expect it. She always like everything always like fall into place for Sagittariuses. So Sagittarius, yeah. So that's what I think about Sagittarius. And so, in fact, like the love of my life a few years ago was a Sagittarius, and he is like always really, really lucky. For example, first of all, he dated me, that's why he's freaking lucky. And also, even though he don't really work that hard, but he has like a really, really good life. Yeah, so Sagittarius are people that if you want to have fun, you want to laugh, you want to have like spontaneous moments with, spontaneous like activities with, Sagittariuses are like your go-to friend. However, if you want to like from the few celebrities like I mentioned just now, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, Brad Pitt, Katie Holmes, one thing you will notice about them is it is very hard for them to keep a relationship and to settle down. That was why, even though a Sagittarius was previously the love of my life, but I could never settle down with him, is because that's his personality. He's all about like exploration, not settle down, living for the moment, which as I was growing up, I don't think I can accept as an adult. But they are like nice to be. They are like friendly and extremely loving people. Next is Capricorn. So Capricorn, they are the birth date of a Capricorn is from December 22nd to January 19. Famous Capricorns are Elvis Presley, Jim Carrey. And Capricorns are very calculating. They are very business-minded, very ambitious, traditional. The two words that symbolizes them is I use. They are an earth sign, which makes them very stable and reliable. They are a cardinal sign, which makes them the first people who always start something. And also they're a yin sign, meaning they don't really stand out when in public. So what I see about Capricorns is Capricorns, when you want them to work, because they are very business minded and it's all about like money. You must always like dangle that carrot or money in front of them. So I previously, back in Malaysia, I used to have like a Capricorn staff. The only way that can make her work is to dangle the money in front of her and she work. Other than that, even if I try to like coax her with presents or gifts or lunch, she would never like want to. I can never like push her to work. The only way that I can push her to work is like dangling the money. So I love Capricorns is also one of the signs where I love working with because they're very practical, very business minded. Just like how I am, I'm very business minded. Like don't give me bullshit, straight cut, no bullshit, straight to the point. So Capricorns are like that. So when you're dealing with Capricorns in business, just go straight to the point. Tell them about the money, how much they will be earning, things like that. And believe it or not, of all the horoscopes and all the like astrological signs out there, if I'm gonna have like a child in the future, I want to have like either a Capricorn son or Capricorn daughter, because they are the most like stable, both emotionally and mentally, very, very practical, very, very business minded. So I mean, if I can marry a Capricorn, I would have, but Aquarius and Capricorns are not really that compatible. So unfortunately, I don't think I would ever marry a Capricorn. Yeah, so that is a Capricorn, really, really business minded. I do notice that Capricorn girls are a bit nosy. Like, they like to peer into like your private life. But other than that, I find that Capricorns are like almost perfect. From that's my own opinion. Next, okay, I'll try my best not to be biased. So next is the sign of Aquariuses. Aquariuses are born between January 20th to February 18. I was born on February 19, but the reason I'm an Aquarius is because I was born on a leap year. So based on my birth date and also my birth time, I'm an Aquarius. So Aquariuses, famous Aquariuses are like Oprah Winfrey. I think you can see the resemblance. Oprah Winfrey, Teresa Tang, who is like a very famous Taiwanese Chinese singer, Albert Einstein, Ellen DeGeneres, Abraham Lincoln, and Paris Hilton. Even though a lot of people out there don't really like Paris Hilton, but I love her because she built a brand. She's iconic. So Aquariuses are very deep thinkers, which I am. They are also very great problem solvers, which I am. Even way before I became a tarot reader, people always like to confide their problems with me because I am always able to look at the situation from like a third person perspective and give very good analytical and logical like answers. So keywords that describe Aquariuses are detached, they are predictively unpredictable, and the two words that describe them is I know. So one phrase that I really, really hate is I told you so. But throughout my 21 years of life, 21 years, forever 21 years of life, I have always told people, I've always given advice to people, and when they do not listen, and when whatever I have like predicted and comes true, I always tell them, I told you so. Why don't you want to listen to me? I told you so. I know. So that is an Aquarius. So Aquarius, their element is air signs. They're communicative and also friendly. They are a fixed sign, very stubborn, and also yang, positive sign, which makes them always stand out. When it comes in a public space, they always stand out. So Aquarius sign, they are always very, a lot of people, they are, okay, so it's like a 50-50 scenario. They are often misunderstood. So 50% of people hates Aquariuses, and 50% of people love Aquariuses. So Aquarius is someone that is always misunderstood. Is because we are able to think things that is like way ahead. That is why like Albert Einstein, when he came up with a lot of theories, people thought he was crazy, but when it was proven to be true, suddenly he's a genius. And that's like the story of my life. Ever since I was like in high school, I always tell people, oh, I'm gonna be like a performer. I'm gonna be in Miss Malaysia, and all my friends would laugh at me. Say, okay, laugh. Eventually, I became like a professional performer. I was in 2 Miss Malaysia pageants, haha. And when I told my friends that I wanted to be a tarot reader, everyone thought I was crazy. But when I started to become popular, and they're like, oh my god, you're so popular, I want a reading from you. I told you so. Why don't you want to listen? Last but not least is Pisces. So Pisces, their birth dates are from February 19 to March 20th. So famous Pisces are Rihanna and Justin Bieber. So just a fun fact, Rihanna was born, her birthday is just one day after mine. So the keywords to reflect Pisces are impressionable, they are tolerant, they are a bit ambiguous, and also I believe. They are water sign, they are mutable, which makes them very flexible, and also they are yin. So Pisces, my father was a Pisces, so my father was very emotional. He is very musically inclined. He loved playing the keyboard, even though it wasn't that good, and he loved watching Korean dramas. And a really funny memory is that every time my father watched Korean dramas, especially if it's something like that's really touching, he always cry. Yes, so that is Pisces. They are really emotional. They are very empathetic. I mean, they have a lot of empathy in them. They really feel you. So a lot of things that they do is based on their feelings, but they sometimes get very confused with their feeling because the sign has like 2 fishes. And if you look at how like the sign of a Pisces looks like both fishes are swimming at like 2 different directions. So that's why they are always very confused. But a lot of Pisces I know are very extremely creative. They are and very musically inclined. So they are really like creative people. I know a lot of Pisces who are actresses and musicians, creative directors. So that is all for, actually that's not all, there's a lot more when it comes to astrology and horoscope, but that's all I have today because I want to move on to tarot reading for all of you. Okay, so let me look at the comments. Wow, 48 comments, sorry. Okay, okay, Leo. Oh, love Leo. Kutalin, hi. Hey, hi everyone. Okay, I'm looking for the first questions. Ooh, Australia. Hi, Natasha. Don't know, I'm not sure if you are still tuning in. Brenda, hi Samuel. Becky, Toya, hi Toya. Hi Ziggy, Natasha. Oh no, any questions out there for tarot reading? Yeah, because you're supposed like to type out your question for like a short, like 1 card tarot reading. So if you have any questions, do type it out so I can do like I have like 10 minutes left. Yeah. Okay, Natasha. I love to know if the art job I have applied 4. Will I get it? Okay. Usually when asking about like a career question or like a job application, I will require more information. But because it's just a one card reading, so let's see what the card, what kind of guidance the card has. Interesting. Wow, shuffling this card fall out. So this card, like Queen of Pentacles. So while I was shuffling, this card like fell out. So I think it is your card. What it shows is that it is quite favorable. It shows that you are someone who is very good with your money. You're very good in like looking after your money, and you are practical. So yeah, it is a very positive job. I think from this card you can I can say that when you are able to like meet with your potential employer, use a lot of like logic. For example, or if he or she asks like how many years experience you have, what you can contribute to this like art school or design school or whatever, use a lot of like logical like explanation. Or if you have like a portfolio, you can show it to them, because that is how you can like win like this job. So, however, from this card, it's actually quite favorable. And in fact, I do foresee that they would be able to meet the salary expectation that you want, because you see there's like a pentacle here, which is a coin card. So I do foresee that it will be quite favorable and positive. Wei Ming, do you normally find out a person's horoscope before you meet up with that person for the first time? Well, thank God I am quite well connected. Because like when I'm before working with this Indonesian Chinese businessman, I know one of his partners. So from his partners, I was able to ask like a lot of questions and get information. So I was lucky enough. But if you don't, you can always ask them like the first time you meet them, and from there, if you're very well versed on astrology, then you can find a way and figure out a way of how to manage and handle them and make like a workflow better. Ziggy, does the near future show any prospects or positivity? Let me see if there's any guidance from the card. Oh, another very positive card. So Knight of Swords shows creativity. It shows like going out. This person is a go-getter. So whatever you are planning to do right now, you are hoping to do right now, you're hoping to achieve, you're planning to take like a new course or like going for a new job, just go for it, because it's a very, very good card. It shows, and you are someone who is also, you have leadership quality, and you are someone who is really creative. But whatever it is, the prospects for the future, it is good, but you need to go for it. Yeah, so don't be hesitant, just go for it. Samuel, Sarah, do a read for me. Haha, if you remember me, didn't know you venture into tarot reading. Yes, Samuel, I remember you. And if I'm not mistaken, you're Cancer. I hope I'm right. So for you, what kind of read do you want? Do you want for your career or your relationship, or just like a general reading? Okay, Samuel, business-wise. Okay, let me see. So right now, are you already in business? Because usually for like a business reading, I would need more information from you. But I have another very good card. I see opportunities coming. You are also very good with your money. You are very good with managing your money, and you are someone who is really, really practical. Yeah, so because this is like a money card, so I do see opportunities coming within the next 1 year. Very interesting. I keep on pulling out like page, kings, queens card, like all like human cards instead of scenarios. Daryl, Sarah, read for me too. Okay, so Daryl, what kind of reading do you want? Do you want on your relationship? Usually, most readings is on like relationship or your career. You can like type it down below or here. Okay, Daryl, me, career, and relationship. Career, relationship. Okay. So first, this is for your career. It feels that previously you were you felt very burdened, but you are slowly getting hold of like the workflow. And because it's a reverse, for this card, it's good that it's a reverse. It means that you are slowly letting go of the burden. So it's a good sign. Like previously you felt very burdened, but you're slowly letting go. And for your relationship, it shows foundation. I'm not sure if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, but it shows building the foundation. Are you currently pursuing someone? If you are, like, build the foundation first. Get to know that person. Be friends first. Know the person inside out. Yeah. Becky, will we lose our home? I hope it's a good card. This is the sun sign, even though, and it is the best card you can ever pull out from a deck. So the sun sign, even though it's in reverse, it's also a very good card. It means that there will be some delays in your plans, but everything will turn out fine. So don't worry. I'm actually really happy that I pulled out this card for you because a sun sign is a good card, regardless if it's upright or reverse. Okay, I have 2 more minutes because they're gonna kick me out from this co-working space. Okay, Samuel, haven't still pending discussing about it. Very good opportunity, so I would think go for it, but do proper planning. Do because it's Pentacles, so Pentacles do very proper planning. Do all the background work. Marriage. Okay. Wei Ning, what kind of reading do you want? Do you want a relationship or your career? So Becky, marriage outlook, please, and thank you. That's okay. Very interesting. So the name of this card is wishes come true. So because it is in reverse, it shows that probably you have certain plans, certain goals, or certain ideals, but together with your partner, both of you may not have the same views when it comes to making decision. So you have a lot of plans, a lot of ideas, but sometimes those ideas are just like merely illusions. And maybe your partner is someone who's like more logical, more like practical. So sometimes there are certain like disagreements and different views. There's difference in personality. I don't see anything like major. Daryl, not in relationship, still on pursuit. Good luck to you. Wei Ming, I'm really hoping for a positive reply this time for job interview last week. Kind of stressed up on this lately. Would like to have a reading on this. Shall I expect any good news? Okay, I know you've been asking about like your career for the past few Facebook Live videos. So I'm really nervous. Oh, this is the Death card, but the Death card is actually my favorite card because it shows that there's a possibility. The Death card shows a complete change. So there's a possibility that you might change industry, like what you're looking for, what you have been applying for right now. In the next few weeks, you might change your mind. So there's a possibility. If there's any opportunities out there that is not something that you have I mean, that you have like skill sets in, or something that you pursued for your degree, try it, because it maybe is even more suitable for you. So death card is not a bad card. It means a complete change, like 360 degree. So death card is my favorite card, because I always love changes, complete changes, new beginnings. Yeah, so this is what it symbolizes. Hi, Nicole. Okay, so Nicole, your reading will be the last one. What future direction should I take, please? Usually I would need more information. Is it for your career or for your relationship? But I don't have that much time anymore. So let's see what guidance the card have. Oh, the star. So the star shows that you have certain dreams or certain ambitions that you want to achieve, but you feel that you are not there yet, that you haven't achieved it. So the star, even if it's in reverse, it's not a bad card. It shows that you need to change your perspective a little. Maybe what you have been doing now in order to achieve your goals, your ambitions, and your dream is not the right method or the right route or the right way. So change your perspective a bit. There are other ways to get there. For example, if you want to get to your destination, that most of the time there isn't just one road or one route to get there. Try other methods in order for you to achieve your goals and dreams. Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That's all the time I have today. See you in my next Facebook Live video. Bye-bye.